You know how some things you try to learn just click, while other things feel like you're trying to climb a sheer cliff face? We're all learners, but the way we learn, that whole process, is going through a massive, massive change. And it's all because of one thing: artificial intelligence. So let's get into how this new tool is completely redrawing the map of how we learn.
It really all comes down to this one simple question. You see it here in French. It asks, how fast do we learn? And the answer, it isn't just a number. It's more like a shape, a story. And understanding that shape is absolutely key to figuring out everything else we're about to talk about.
To get to that answer, we first have to talk about a really core idea that basically maps out how we get good at, well, anything. And that idea is the learning curve.
So what is a learning curve exactly? Well, think of it like a simple graph. Along the bottom, you've got time and effort, all the hours you put in. And then going up the side, you have your skill level, how good you've gotten. It's basically just a picture of your journey from, I have no clue what I'm doing, to, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this.
Let's make this super concrete. Say you need to design a quick graphic. You could hop on Canva. We'd say that has a low learning curve. You can jump right in and make something that looks decent almost immediately. But then there's Adobe Photoshop. That is a whole different animal. Mastering that is a high learning curve. It's a much steeper, harder climb. The goal is the same, but the journeys are worlds apart.
And these curves, they kind of have their own language. A really steep line right at the beginning, that means you're picking things up fast. A curve that's kind of flat, oof, that's the grind. That means progress is slow and difficult. And then there's the one we all dread, the plateau. You know that feeling, right? Where you're practicing and practicing, but you just feel stuck. You don't seem to be getting any better. That's a plateau.
This actually brings us to a really funny and common mix-up. I'm sure you've heard it or even said it yourself. Man, that is a steep learning curve. But what do we actually mean when we say that?
And here's the paradox. When we say something as a steep learning curve, we mean it's incredibly hard. But if you look at the actual graph, a steep line means you're learning incredibly fast. It's a funny little quirk of language, isn't it? What we say out loud is the complete opposite of what the chart actually shows.
All right, so now that we get the map, let's take a look at the classic journey. What did learning something really complex look like before AI became this ever-present co-pilot?
Just picture a student trying to write an argumentative essay, the old-fashioned way. They kind of get the prompt, but not really. Their brainstorming doesn't get them very far. They struggle through a first draft. The structure's all over the place. They can't find the right words. And then, the hardest part. They hand it in and just wait. The feedback loop is so long, and when they finally get it back, they're on their own, trying to figure out all the corrections.
The learning curve for that student is pretty predictable, right? It's going to be a slow, flat start, and it's going to be full of those frustrating plateaus. Progress just feels slow and choppy. And honestly, it's pretty easy to just lose motivation. That's the classic and often painful way to learn something hard.
Okay, but now that whole path is being completely redrawn. An AI assistant has entered the chat, and it's totally changing the shape of this journey.
So let's imagine that same student again, but now they have an AI to help. Instantly, they can ask for a good example to see how it's done. They can get a ton of ideas, better vocabulary. They start writing with way more support and confidence. And the second they're done, they get immediate feedback with clear explanations for any mistakes. The whole cycle of writing, getting feedback, and improving happens in real time.
The difference is just stark. That slow, difficult start is now an ultra-fast one. Those awful plateaus that used to stop you in your tracks, they pretty much just disappear. And that feedback loop that used to take days or weeks, now it's instant and constant. The whole nature of the process has changed.
A world with no learning plateaus? I mean, that sounds incredible, doesn't it? A perfect world for learners. But this new super fast path brings with it a whole new set of really complex challenges for both students and teachers. Because, yeah, there are some serious side effects. It's so easy to become dependent on the tool without really thinking. You can end up with a perfect-looking essay, but have you actually understood the topic? This can create what some call an illusion of competence. You feel like you're learning at lightning speed, but the knowledge is actually pretty fragile because you skip the hard part, the struggle, which is where deep learning actually happens.
And you can see how this completely changes a teacher's job. It used to be that the teacher was the main source of knowledge, but now with AI, their role is shifting to become more of a guide, a coach. Their main job isn't just to hand out information anymore. It's to make sure that the rapid progress they're seeing is real and that the learning is actually deep and meaningful.
And that really gets to the heart of the new mission. The biggest challenge now isn't just helping people learn things, it's about making sure that they learn in a way that sticks, a way that's lasting and conscious.
So we're left with this really critical question. And it's not just for schools. It's for all of us trying to learn new things in this new world. As AI makes the road to getting skilled feel smoother and faster than ever, when learning feels this easy, how do we make sure our progress is actually real?